Hello and welcome to that Peter Crouch podcast with me, Peter Crouch. Chris is away, unfortunately, again. And Sid, you've gone back to your couch.
Yeah, gone back to my usual habitat. I just needed this blanket around me, and I didn't want to get above my station and keep getting in the chair. Like I said before, I want to keep this job. I like where I am. I don't want to rock the boat. And again, we've got no mic, so
you still
feel
hands
naked.
free. How are you feeling with the hand situation? It's a weird thing talking on camera, isn't it? You know, when you watch Ange and he kind of looks down a bit, and then look. I mean, how do you feel with what do you feel about your hand situation?
I don't mind hands. I'm quite a sort of an expressive person, so I don't mind it. But it just feels weird. I think because we're doing this with you, obviously remote, so I can hear you in my AirPods. I can see you on a screen. I think it'd be much better when we're all together round here. You know, when we crack a joke and we come over and we touch each other. I think it's going to be all right. But yeah, we're getting used to it, mate. No one likes change, but change is for the better.
I've just seen Ashley Cole walk past the window.
I love the way he's casually just said, I've just seen Ashley Cole walk past the window. Can we casually just get him in on the pod? What do you think?
Get in here, son. All right, Sid. Well, listen, I did promise you, I'm sitting here, just on holiday, and as I've looked out the window, I've seen Ashley Cole walk past. So there he is. Right, Ash?
Hello, mate.
You enjoying your time away?
Yeah, I have. It's been quite a busy month for me, obviously, preparing for the Euros in the summer.
Yeah.
So it's good to just get 4 or 5 days away and obviously enjoying your hospitality.
Yeah,
just bowling into your house. You don't even know what I mean.
He's just strolling round. We had a little game of golf yesterday. That was good.
Who won?
Who won? It wasn't either of us, was it? Yeah, Dan won. Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I've hurt my back since. I was throwing Johnny in the pool the other day and I pulled something in my back. And I'm just getting round at the moment. I'm not gutted as well because I'm so looking forward to playing golf out here.
Yeah, it's brilliant over here, isn't it, for the golf?
Oh.
Amazing. It was a great day. We just didn't play to our top ability, did we?
But we'll be back stronger next year.
Yeah. You two are making me feel sick, by the way. You're out of order. Look at these two. Oh, yeah, he's in the back. Yeah, it's great over here. Yeah, the fridge is stacked up with booze. So Ashley Cole just walked past the window. Look at you lot.
What we're doing today, Ash, we're talking about kind of season reviews, and obviously there's no better person to talk about the young players. Obviously, you've been involved with the 21s. Who's impressed you this year? Obviously, the two lads at Arsenal, Lewis-Skelly, obviously feels like he's just burst on the scene, but you would have known him well before that. Nwaneri as well.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I didn't really know Myles. I think that word is key, right? He did burst onto the scene. I think everyone affiliated with Arsenal would know who he is, but of course, you're watching it one week and then someone's injured, and then Myles is making his first appearance, and the conversations around his name was high. But if you're not into the Arsenal youth team and know how they're developing players, you might not know of them as much. And then, as you mentioned, he's come onto the scene, he's walked into that team and he plays with a good personality, maturity, and he's shown at such a young age that the game intelligence, the football mind, he's got it at such a young age. And it's brilliant to see. Ethan, another one, of course, kind of limited on game time, but you expect it because he's got top players in front of him and he's still a young boy developing and maturing as well. So, that's just two. There's been some great performances.
Yeah, who else have you got? So I know you're a big fan of Curtis Jones, aren't you? I know
Curtis Jones, so from our 21s, you got
perspective.
Anthony Gordon, obviously, he's had a very good season with Newcastle, injured. Just coming back from injury, but again, developed and got better and better season after season. And now he's hitting, I feel, elite elite level mode. Curtis Jones, again, very versatile player, can play in any position. I feel he's got the attributes to do everything. He's shown that he's got the belief in himself. Very confident boy, but not in a nasty way, not in a bad way. He's very humble in what he does. And yeah, plays for Liverpool right back now at times when needed because he's that good. So yeah, I'm buzzing to see him. Then you got Morgan Gibbs-White, who of course having a great season with Nottingham Forest. Again, I say one to watch out for, but in my opinion, he can go to any level he wants. I think he's that good.
Rumours about Man City in for him at Morgan Gibbs-White. Where do you stand on that? Can he slip into that to a team like that?
As I mentioned, I think if you just look at the potential and him, his profile of a player, again, he can do everything. He can run forward, he can run backwards, and we always speak about that motivation to run backwards. He has that. He can unlock defenses. He can score goals and assists. So there's not a lot that he can't do. And yeah, I'm not surprised with a top team like Man City chasing him, to be honest. And Morgan Rogers similar as well.
Ash, sorry, Crouchy. There was a couple of names I just wanted to throw at Ash just quickly. One was, I know you was at Sellers Park the other week. Adam Wharton, obviously a lot of Palace fans rave about him. I've seen him a couple of times. I love watching him live. I watch him and he's got great talent, but I still think there's so much more to come. And he needs, for me, in my opinion, he needs to just produce a few more goals and assists to his name to probably take him to the next level. But I've been really impressed with him so far.
Yeah, and another one, Sidney, in terms of, attributes and potential, as you mentioned, I think he has everything. I understand where you're coming from when you're going, maybe he needs to do more. But is that the fact of, maybe the way Palace play, these holding midfielders, this day and age, they've evolved. They're not the old, and I'm not disrespecting anyone here. I played with a Makaleli who was unreal, but like the enforcers that just sit in front of the back four, they're kind of going out of the game now. You've got to be able to carry the ball, you've got to be able to run with the ball, you've got to be able to break play up, you've got to be able to put yourself in positions where you can intercept balls, but then you've got to start attacks, then you've got to finish attacks at times. So you need to be an all-rounder, and I totally agree. You want to see a little bit more from Ad, and I think with more experience, more games, maybe a little bit more pressure on him, he will evolve and he will become the player that everyone knows he can become. Yeah.
The other one who's probably more breaking through now at Manchester City, is it Nico O'Reilly? I know he's obviously a younger one, but he's breaking through in a moment where probably Man City have been a little bit shaky. He's come on and he's made an impact in games. How much have you seen of him?
Yeah, a lot. Again, the pathway with England is quite strong and good, and we're looking at multiple players all through the age groups to go who's next and when are they going to feature for us. And yeah, similar to a Rico, where again seamlessly steps into the team and plays with a great maturity. You can trust them. Ultimately, Pep trusts him to play not week in, week out, but gives him the opportunity to play and a platform to play. And then now he's, I'm not saying cementing his place, of course not, but Pep certainly trusts him and plays him at crucial parts of the game. I think he showed it against Bournemouth when he came on, changed the game a little bit in his dynamicness to run behind and run forward, sets up 2 goals, and then he plays against, who did he just score against?
Palace? Was it on the weekend?
Exactly.
Yeah. I was there.
Palace.
He looked at me to say, help me out here.
At Palace. And you see, he's being trusted in these moments, which is, again, a good sign that they're developing and maturing at a good rate.
Ash, is there any, you look throughout the ages, is there any players that we or fans might not have heard of that you think might be the next big thing? Like Max Dowman, someone who is only, 15, 16, isn't he, right? But so many fans are already talking about him. We know him a little bit and have seen lots of clips from him. How good can he be? And is there another name that you could say to us to keep an eye out for?
Yeah, there's... put me on the spot a little bit because I ain't got my depth chart. But no, with Max again, another one that's came through the Arsenal ranks, starting to... Obviously, with everything online now. You get to see little clips of these players.
Do you think do you agree with all that? Like, like there's little things that come out from the club and the kid's 16 and he's already getting compared to like players who have been playing for, 20, 30 years.
It's tough because I don't know how they handle pressure because ultimately as much as firstly, you're giving these players a platform, right? So, I don't know, I'm not going to throw the name on here because I don't want to, but there's companies on Instagram that post youth team games and clips of players, and it's great because the players are getting exposure, right? But on the flip side of that is also adding pressure. And do you want to add pressure to a 16-year-old? Like, the time will come. If they can keep continuing to do what they're doing and playing well and really harping on their trade, everyone will know their name in 2-3 years. But there's a lot of pressure on these kids. Like, we're talking about him. Has he even played the first team game yet?
No.
That's what I'm saying. It's you. In my opinion, I think you've got to have to be a little bit more careful on, how you handle these this younger generation, these young players, because you heap these pressure on these players, and I don't think it's fair. Like, everyone now, I bet every Arsenal fan's going like, why is he not being more involved in the first team? Why is he not getting a chance? It's like, well, hold up. He's doing exams as well, by the way. Similar to a Myles and all that, but like, let's relax a little bit and let time take its toll, and hopefully they'll get the opportunity and everyone will know their name.
Where do you stand on that Lewis-Skelly one? Like with there's confidence and then there's like over arrogance. Do you know what I mean? Like, where did you stand on that when he's taking a piss out of Haaland a little bit with a celebration and certain things there? There's a real small margin between being really confident and being like overconfident.
Yeah, I totally understand and see where you're coming from, but that is the line between confidence and arrogance is someone's opinion, right? I could just say, I'm just super confident, I'm not arrogant, but someone might go, no, that's arrogant, that's your opinion.
That's your opinion.
And I think what he done in that game and what he's shown, and I put myself back in the position when I was a young player coming through, and similar to you and Siddy, is like, when you come through, you have to have something different. I was playing against men and I was an 18, 19-year-old, and I'm like, well, I didn't know what that word. I didn't know what arrogance was. I was just confident in, I'm going to go up against him. I'm going to give it everything. There's certainly a line, but I feel at such a young age, you have to portray and give that air of confidence and belief in yourself. Like, yeah, you're Haaland, but I'm Myles Skelly. And yeah, you're Haaland, you scored 50 goals or whatever, but I'm also playing my trade. I'm not letting you take my job. Ultimately, it's dog eat dog, right? You know? So Myles has to come across and give it. I understand with a celebration or whatever, but it's a bit of fun sometimes. And it's how Haaland, perceives it. Was he offended? I think that's the one who we should care about. No one else's opinion matters. If Haaland's offended by it, then okay, well, Myles, you might have to say sorry.
Yeah.
But when everyone else pipes up and gets involved, it's just like, well, it's an opinion, isn't it?
Really good point. Like, we're talking about the state of the league here, Ash. Lots of people saying, obviously, the three that came up went down. Is the gap between the Championship and the Premier League too great now for teams to come up and stay up? And also, we discussed on the pod as well. I think the middle part of the group now, teams like Fulham, Bournemouth, Brentford, are they improving?
Yeah, 100%. I think with the money, obviously, the revenue that's coming into these clubs now, and what the Premier League's giving these clubs is giving the kind of, if you want to say, the middle tier towards the back end of the bottom, an opportunity, right? So you speak about the Brightons. I think recruitment has to be right. Don't just splash the money on players that you feel won't fit, but people are certainly catching up. And again, you spoke about the bottom three coming up from the champ, or how, well, yeah, is the gap too big? I think you have to say yes from the champ.
From the ones coming up.
Champ to straight up to the Prem, there's certainly a gap, but then that old bottom group to middle group, yeah, they're evolving, they're getting better. The clubs are investing in teams, and again, let's see next season, because we've had two teams that we never ever thought would be in the position they are in the Tottenham and Manchester United. The state they're in at the moment in league position is not like them. It's not normal. So, we say this year's league is an anomaly. You got to disregard this. They'll see next season. If teams evolve, if Man U have to strengthen, they're like 13th or 14th, and they Tottenham down there, 15th, 16th, or whatever it looks like for them. It's not good enough, is it? So you would think they're going to go up 2 places next year. So you go to top 7, should look a little bit like it has done in previous years. And then the middle group, they've got to evolve and go again to now knock the people like Man U's and Tottenham back off their perch again.
Can a team like Nottingham Forest, can they stay in and amongst the elite now? Or is this a one-season wonder?
It's tough. You can't disrespect what they did. It's been a joy to watch, but as an outsider, no influence on any team, you go in, I like the way they're working, humble, they graft, they work for each other. And I don't think it's, they're in a position where they are now through luck. So credit to them. Can they sustain that and continue that next season? Yes. Depends if everyone else strengthens and they still have that belief, they don't lose any key players, and they still have that motivation and hunger to keep striving to be better.
And as your hunger and your determination for your golf game, is that going to improve next year, or are we going to see the same sort of thing?
I was happy. Look, we were fighting wooden spoon, me and him, City, but I don't know why, by the way. He's a crock. He had a bad back. So
mate, all over
you
hit the ball nice. You hit the ball nice. All right, listen, mate. Listen, I'm going to keep you on holiday. You know where the fridge is.
Cheers, mate.
Go and get me one as well, by the way.
Cheers, City. Sweet to you later.
See you, Ash. See you, mate. I love talking to Ash when he talks with such passion and stuff. You can see he's so invested into the game and that, and there's such a good insight into, especially that new crop that are coming now, because he's been there, he's done it. Do you know what I mean? He's lived that dream, that path, that life. He can. Just talking there about arrogance and confidence is so good to hear. And
you know what's good?
So good that he's in the setup.
Yeah, totally agree. You know what's good, Sid? Like we on this podcast, we all have a laugh and a joke about it, and listen, if you want in-depth podcast, there's a hell of a lot of podcasts said there. We're just trying to give you an insight into our life as footballers and have a laugh doing it, and hopefully bring a bit of insight. But when you speak to Ash as well, and it's so nice to get someone on sometimes where we just bring it all back to actually the tactics, to the mentality, what it's like, and Ash is around it. You can see how passionate he is about football and about kind of being a manager and improving players. He's gone down that coaching route, and I think you can really tell, because he is so passionate about it. And from where he is now, I think obviously, he is an under-21s coach, but I really hope he branches out one day, and takes a role, a first team role, a manager's role, because I think he deserves it, and I think he'll be a credit to that club.
Yeah. I think the key to Ash is, and knowing him and his personality and the way that he works, is that he will get such joy out of improving players. Now, whether that's that group at the minute that he's got with England, or if he does become a manager, and hopefully he does get a chance, that on the pitch of making that team obviously try and win things, but more importantly, like improve individuals along the way. Because I think, he's definitely got that. So love speaking to him. He's class.
All right, so it's nice to obviously chat to Ash about his thoughts on it. But just going through the league now, I've just got the league in front of me. Obviously, Southampton, like the way they approach this season, it does flabbergast me. It really does, the way that's happened. The amount of mistakes they've caused from themselves, really, from kind of playing out the back. Ipswich, you'd have to say, had a go. Leicester been really, really poor. Other than that, West Ham, obviously, the management wasn't correct in the first place. I think Graham Potter has kind of pulled that back a little bit. Wolves, it feels like there was a huge problem with kind of discipline and losing the amount of players they did. But the biggest one's Spurs, Sids, and where do Spurs go from here? And they're sitting in 15th place as we look at it at the moment. What do you see for them next year or this year?
Do you know what? They shouldn't be down there. They shouldn't be down there with the squad that they've had. Injuries has played a part, right? And that is key. Because you want your best players out, Ange does. He's had to juggle around. Then there's been a lot of stuff outside of it as well, and especially of late with this mole and stuff that's coming out and leaking. And that only ever happens when a club is in sort of disarray, isn't it? Really, although they're in Europe, they've got to try and win that competition to salvage anything from this season. It'd be interesting to see, is Ange going to be there next year? You know, is Spurs is it just a mentality of that football club that just can't get things over the line and win trophies, or, you know, stay in the top four or hunt for Champions League? It needs a big shake up there. Now, whether that's player wise or, again, the manager or not, I'm not too sure whether it's going to be the owners. But it's been a really bad season for them. Really, really bad. I know sort of Spurs fans now that not even going to games because it's got that bad. So, and the same you could say for Man United, because they're in and around them as well. So for both of them, exactly like what Ash said, it's been an anomaly kind of season in general. But God, for United especially, what's that? It's their worst Premier League tally in their history.
Do you know what
show how bad it's been.
Do you know what I find unbelievable, right? Man United and Spurs, like Spurs have kept the same manager all season, right? Everton are now above them both. Up above Manchester United and Spurs. I mean, it was real touch and go whether they were going to get relegated for the next season. I mean, they had an absolutely dire start. If you look at Manchester United and Spurs are both below them in the table at the moment, and that's what, with the same games played. Flabbergasted me, to be honest. The Europa League still an opportunity. Is still a possibility for both of them, though, which is madness, isn't it?
Just about them clubs at the bottom, and it was triggered me there is you could probably say that Wolves and Everton have probably shown more fight this year than Manchester United and Spurs.
Yeah.
And they're all actually the first two were probably below them at one point because they were facing relegation, wasn't they? They both got themselves now to safety, but even now they are quite safe as such. They're still probably showing more desire on the pitch than Spurs and United, which is unacceptable. And
having said that, like the teams ahead of them, right, are classed as Palace, Brentford, Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth. I put them now in a mini league, if you like. I think Everton will be in that next season. West Ham could potentially be in that mix as well. But then I'm putting Villa and Newcastle just ahead of that in a fight out with Forest, probably.
Yes.
You know, because you would anticipate that Chelsea and Manchester City will strengthen them in and around the top four again. But you'd have to put Chelsea in that scenario as well with Newcastle. But Newcastle and Villa just feel like the teams that have everything geared up to potentially be Champions League clubs in the future.
Yeah, them two especially. Regularly. They could be classed now, really. And this is going back probably the last 3 seasons, the way they've progressed. The top 8. You know, I think now the Premier League is so strong that they would be in the top 8 clubs chasing Champions League football year in, year out. The other ones that you just said, just go that mid-table one quickly, that mini league, like your Brentford, your Bournemouths, Brighton, Fulham. They're chasing for probably 8th position, maybe like a Europa Conference League this year. They're having a shootout for that. And then which leaves the other mob shooting out for top 5 Champions League. I think Liverpool have run away with it. I can't see any upsets or anyone catching them. I still see Arsenal probably finishing 2nd. And then it's going to be 5 teams shooting it out for 3 places, which is going to be, you know, your top 5 of Champions League. So then you've got Forest, Chelsea, Man City. Who else you got? Arsenal.
Newcastle, Villa.
We said there, didn't we? Newcastle, Villa. That's it. Newcastle and Villa. So two big teams are going to miss out on Champions League football next year.
Is there a case, though, Sid, here, right? Is there a case for your Liverpools, your Arsenals, your Man Cities, your Chelseas not being as good as what we're used to seeing? You know, like we're saying, there's definitely been improvement from those teams in and around the mid-table, but the reason those mid-table sides couldn't get anywhere near the top 4 previously is because when I think about some of those teams, those Man United teams, the Liverpool teams, the Chelsea teams, even Spurs to a degree, to some, they were untouchable.
Yeah,
and I don't think the big teams are untouchable now.
No, and Chelsea have probably proved that this season. I mean, again, the amount of money that they spent, they should probably be doing better than what they're doing. But it is a program, it is a process. They look like they was flying up until Christmas, and then now you're looking at it going, are they ahead of schedule? I don't really know. Are they going to drop out the top 5? They might not even get Champions League. I mean, Forest, they're on a bit of a slump as well, remember? So they could drop out of it as well. I think this is going to go down to the wire. I think in my prediction for top 5, it's going to go. I think it will literally go down to the last game of the season, especially the last 2 places for 4th, 5th.
Intriguing end to the season anyway, Sids. We'll get there.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to next season. The most exciting league in the world is obviously the Friday podcast anyway. So make sure you tune in Fridays because, that league's going to go to the wire.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some messages. Good day to you, gents, in regards to your families. Murray here, Scottish, but living in Boston, USA. I wanted to reach out as upon hearing so many cracking stories of you, Crouchy, especially a reminder of your cracking hat-trick away at Arsenal in the lovely yellow away kit. I wanted to ask the question about the way day celebrations, or the limbs, as they're called. Did you have a stadium which before the game even started, you were more desperate to score to see the fans celebrate because of how it was set up, the stadium? Or what is the best fan celebration you've ever seen in a stadium? I ask this because I was watching the Premier League years and I love seeing fans going absolutely bonkers on TV. The Emirates looks good in the away end, but stadiums like St James's Park must be a weird one because the fans are so high up. What are your thoughts? Keep up the good work, fellas. Come on, the Hibbies. That's from Murray in Boston.
Murray in Boston. Wow, yeah, great topic that. Do you know what? I'm going to ask you a question quickly. He's talking about limbs and he's talking about Emirates. If there's a game the first game that comes to your head of limbs at the Emirates in the away end, what game would you say, what game springs to your mind?
At the Emirates Stadium.
At the Emirates. I don't know whether you played in it or not. One's just come to my mind.
Well, there's one for me when Yunus Kabul scored in the North London derby to win it 3-2 from being 2-0 down. That was the one that I played in at the Emirates.
Yeah. I think I was thinking, was there another one where half the support was left, and was it Aaron Lennon that scored the equaliser?
Well, it was 4-4.
The 4-4 one.
4-4 game where David Bentley scored from the halfway line.
That's it. That's the one that comes to mind. You just see absolute limbs being thrown everywhere, especially at the Emirates.
Have you seen? Listen, there's been a couple of ones that really stick out for me, and obviously I've talked about this many a time. But one where I score at the Etihad away to get Tottenham into the Champions League. But look, when I run behind the goal, you've got to see that. I think that for me is the definition of limbs. It's like the jumping, the bouncing, the people falling over. Because I run behind the goal, and it's just, I remember looking out and just thinking that is chaos in that stand. That is absolute chaos. That's the biggest chaos I've ever seen. And I've seen some big goals be scored, and I've seen some stadiums go mad. But I've never seen that. For me is definition of limbs, because I saw people upside down, I saw arms, I saw heads. There's when you say limbs, it's just all you see is literally different types of limbs, and I think that is the definition of limbs. And that for me was the Etihad Spurs v City.
Yeah, I think as well. St James's Park is now there. They're so high up, you can't even see. You feel as though you're just celebrating with your teammates really on that one if you score up at there. But I think you're right. If anything where you're close to the fans, and if they can get, not that we condone it at all, but if they can get over and get amongst you and a few of them get on the pitch where it's a last minute winner, or where they just go crazy. I think they're the ones where if you can try and get in the crowd with them, it's just like you can't describe it, can you? It's just so good. You're trying to get ripped apart. The stewards are trying to do their job. It's brilliant. Yeah.
One of my favourites, Sid, one of my favourites was in my first season, I think, year 2000. I think we played Luton away in the FA Cup. And I remember scoring, I think we were 2-0 down. And I remember scoring a goal. It got it back to 2-2, I think it was a touch. And I've slotted it. And I remember seeing, and I don't know if you know, like, Kenilworth Road, but like behind the away end, there's a drop like into like a pit. So I've scored the goal and I've run behind. Then I've spotted my dad, and I've gone. I've pointed at him, and he was buzzing. And as he's tried to jump on his chair or something, I've seen him go, and he's gone 6 rows down, and he's ended up in the pit at the bottom. But obviously everyone's rushed forward, so I thought, as I've walked away, I've gone, he could be dead there. I was like, he's fallen 5 rows down, and he's getting like, this is absolute carnage. So then I remember thinking, oh my God, like, I hope he's all right. So I'm kind of walking back to the halfway line. Then all of a sudden I see his head pop up. Give me a little wave. I was like, yeah. And it gave me another, it was like another buzz, like I'd scored. I was like, yes, my dad's all right. That again, brilliant. That again for me is a definition of limbs.
Yeah, more limbs. We all see more limbs from now on.
Phenomenal stuff, isn't it? That's the best. Nothing better.
Yeah.
Okay, bonjour, fellas. Regards to your families. Wow. I'm a listener of the pod from France, all the way from the Visio era in 2020 to the era with Statman Dave to the era with Notorious SID. Love all the nonsense you guys come up with. Really entertaining. I live in Bordeaux, South of France, and I wonder if you guys follow Andy Carroll's adventures recently.
Oh,
I do actually, yeah. He signed last summer for Bordeaux FC, who have been downgraded to the French 4th Division following the club going into administration. The club has a big history, champions in France multiple times. The last time, not so long ago, cup winners, it's where Zidane, Lisa Lazou, Dugarry took off in the mid-90s. Apparently, Andy Carroll earns around the French minimum wage, which is $1,600 a month. Considering the rent and life expenses, he's basically losing money to play here. He's doing well in Bordeaux and currently fighting to go up a division, still with the uncertainty of the economic future. What a story around passion and love of the game, but at what cost? He just hit 10 goals in the league, which gave him a bonus of €2,000. I don't know any further details about the story and haven't heard much in the press here, so I thought it'd be a good subject for the pod. If you guys want to come to Bordeaux for a few days, I'll be happy to help facilitate in any shape or form. Bonne journée, Alex.
Well, I can confirm we will be going to Bordeaux, please.
Absolutely. We're never going to...
It's a mad one, this, isn't it, with Andy Carroll? Because, I've followed a little bit of it, and he's doing well. He's scoring goals, but he looks as though he's sort of living the dream down there as well, eh? Some place to live. But I don't know how he's going to get up. I can see how he's saying that the French minimum wage and the expenses of rent and stuff, he's losing money, but I think he's living life and
but that's the thing.
Living a happy life.
Yeah, I know certain players that went to certain clubs and they enjoyed the lifestyle and the life so much that it was like, let's be honest, if you moved, for instance, to Bordeaux and your work wasn't football, but you loved football, you'd still play, wouldn't you? So I don't think it's, if people move different places and join a club and end up paying to play football, so if he likes living in Bordeaux and he's enjoying the football as well, and it's a win-win situation. And but it is an amazing story because I've seen a few clips of him scoring goals in Bordeaux and enjoying it. And good luck to him. Why not?
Well, we haven't seen him getting slung out of restaurants and bars, so maybe he's just sort of gone the sophisticated route and he's more cultured now as well.
No, I'm pretty sure he's doing that. It's just not as high profile now. Without doubt. But no, listen, it's a good story all the same. And there's probably plenty of listeners that don't know that he's plying his trade in Bordeaux, but it's worth a Google. So Go and have a look. He's doing well.
Mm.
Okay, Sid. Well, it's been an interesting turn of events on this podcast. Obviously, we were going to go for a little season review. We ended up with Ashley Cole giving a little dissection of some of the young players that are coming through. You never know which way it's going to turn, do you, on this pod?
That's what we do on this podcast, mate. We just go off piece and then just come back on as we do.
Well, let me take you off piece to finish, if you don't mind, Sid, and take you for an eBay 11. For no particular reason other than the fact that we've been sent one in.
Why? What is this about?
I've no. Do you know what? He even says there's no reason for this whatsoever. But he sent one in anyway. Okay, so he's gone for David Beyer in goal instead of David Raya, I imagine.
Yeah.
Christian fucks it sold. Vincent e-commerce company.
Yeah.
James Ward-Prowse. Ryan Gavelbirch. Steve Bidwell.
Yeah,
of course.
Got to be there.
Stuart Downing-Price. Stuart Downing-Price. Mohamed Salah. Kevin De Bruyne now.
Yeah.
We've got Charlie Adams for my basket. Second Andy Cole. And Eric Ten Hagel as the manager. Cheers, gents. Josh. Absolutely no reason for that whatsoever, but enjoyed every moment of it.
Love it, Josh.
Very
Brilliant.
much similar to this pod, Sids. No reason for it whatsoever, but very much enjoyed it.
As they all do, all our listeners. It's been a pleasure.
It really has been a pleasure, kid. Listen, regards to your family, Sids, we'll be back stronger very soon. I'm going to go and crack one open.
Mate, you go and live the life. I'll keep the studio warm for you. I'll see you soon.
See you soon, mate.